Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin for our charts. So yeah, it appears that we had a little bit of a turnaround Tuesday yesterday, finding ourselves at the upper level of our short time frame range. So you can basically see this $47,000 area. Found our way all the way up there, sideways to down off of 4-hour 9. So yeah, we have got to decide, do we break above this level, above 48,000, and at which point I would pretty much be expecting a move up towards 50,000, or are we to get rejected here, which would look particularly bearish if we do, and if we come back down, if we do get down towards a 44k handle on Bitcoin, yeah, I think it will be $42,000 next that we come down to test, but that is not necessarily what is going to happen here. Obviously no one knows what is going to happen, but that's not necessarily my my favorite scenario. I do think that we can basically maybe trade within this little range for a bit. As you can see, there's quite a bit of price confluence here, and then this is quite an important level, this 48,500 ish, and then get above there, and then we will start to look pretty good, because that will put us in fully and formally in the upper half of our wider range, and then yeah, we'll look to trade sideways within that range for a period of time, maybe a week, maybe a couple of weeks. We shall have to see, but yeah, things certainly looking better, but obviously not out of the woods here. Confidence slowly trying to creep back into this market. If we look at the Ethereum Satoshi pairing, it is still looking quite weak, still looking well, it depends on what you want to it is pretty much a descending triangle. You may try and draw a wedge into it, but it's pretty much a descending triangle, so not the most bullish of formations. But again, we just got to watch out for the upper trend line, downward sloping trend line, and the lower base of the triangle. But it is looking like if Bitcoin can make a bit of a move to the upside, then yeah, obviously this Ethereum could potentially not keep up, and if we also get slammed back down, rejected here, then yeah, Ethereum will also potentially lose value quicker. So I mean, realistically, the only bullish case for Ethereum Satoshi pairing at the moment is we just kind of grind sideways between 47 and 48, then kind of grind sideways between 48 and 49. But we know the relationship, we know how they work relative to each other. But yeah, but either way, it's looking like we could get a move in Bitcoin, because this is looking like it is lining up for a drop. So obviously a move in Bitcoin on the cards, and yeah, I mean that could be to the upside or to the downside. If we look at the USD pairing, that is just bouncing within its range here, but again near the top half. So if it does break above here, maybe we can see some acceleration, some outperformance, but I think that will be, like I said, happen if Bitcoin kind of gradually just grinds upwards towards 48,000 and then 49 and then 50,000. I think Ethereum could really get going, the dollar value, but also against the Bitcoin as well in that scenario. Bitcoin dominance still holding below our resistance here, looking to try and put in a bottom here. So maybe Bitcoin does make a move and altcoins do struggle. The DXY though, DXY, as you can see, looking like it doesn't want to push above here, looking like it wants to test some downside, looking like it's putting up one last battle against this support zone and this trend line before curtains. But we shall see what happens. It did similar-ish price action was here, and then we did move to the upside, but are we going to see similar price action here and actually move to the downside this time? We shall see. How did turnaround Tuesday work for stock markets? Actually, not in any way, shape or form, but as you can see, we are now at this trend line, so unless we are going to have a pretty aggressive deeper correction, which we certainly obviously could, anything is possible, unless that is to happen, we are going to have to bounce quite significantly from here. So maybe today is the day that happens, but we obviously will have to monitor if that does. I mean, clearly if the bounce happens, clearly going to be good for Bitcoin, but obviously if it doesn't, clearly probably going to be bad. 10-year also having a bit of a move here as well, dropped out of its triangle here. So obviously this is the sort of thing that happens when you lose trend lines. Pretty aggressive move down. But if we do look at the wider range, we're kind of tightening up, so it kind of needed a breakout in volatility, but it was within the levels of previous price action as opposed to the upside, which would have been that good. So this is probably the move, the expansion of volatility direction we wanted, because ultimately then we still trading sideways within this area. It's probably annoying how I keep moving that mouse around. Other than that, not much else I want to look at on here. So those stochastics, I mean, realistically, the big one was the daily 10 and 12. I'm sure looking great, but we shall have a look. 4 hour has got nicely up there. So this does now need to pass on the baton to the 10 and 12 hour, which need to then squeeze out of the daily to the upside. But yeah, 10 hour moving up very nicely here. 12 hour moving up very nicely and got a lot of room to run, and then daily just about turning up here. So the daily does need to get going, at which point, yeah, like I said, we've got a very good chance. 2 days still pointing down there, so obviously that would need to turn back up. 3 day coming down, but yeah, so what I'm saying is we've got a good chance, if the daily gets going to the upside, a good chance of getting that move basically towards 50,000 and potentially even the top of the range. But I do think 50,000 will be pretty formidable resistance. I don't think that likely that we just blast straight up and straight bounce from from this level to the top. I think we'll hit 50,000, potentially trade sideways. Maybe that move up to 50,000 is when the Bitcoin dominance gets to move up, and Ethereum Satoshi pairing gets whacked. But then at this point, I think we'll potentially trade sideways between this is very specific views, but trade sideways probably between 50 and 48. The alts will really get going, and then we'll look to make a move to the upside. And then I'm not saying that we'll then break onwards and upwards, because as you guys know, I'm kind of looking at more sideways within this wider range, but maybe we'll just play out kind of the top half of the range, whilst altcoins go on a mad one before ultimately breaking to the upside. So yeah, bullish case scenario, full of optimism there. So there you go. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, so always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.